Hello everybody, and today we'll be looking at some spoilers from Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth. So, I saw some spoilers that I want to talk about, for Magda especially, that's why she's on screen. I have two honorable mentions, and the rest are cards I believe will most likely be put in Magda lists, or at least tried out in. Okay, let's start off with the honorable mentions. First one, the One Ring. I think this will be okay in some Magda lists. I don't know how good it's going to be, since the ETB effect is also a cast effect, and only gains 0 protection if you cast it from hand. Which kind of sucks, but there are some combos that you can have with the tap draw effect. Especially with, I think it's the keys that untap artifacts. So, my second honorable mention is Horn of the Mark. Just look for more dwarves, put them on field. It just helps a bit with the snowball plan. I don't think we'll see any play in Modulus, but it could be something cool. Cool thought about it. Okay. On to the actual list. Now, I'm going to start off with the creatures. And this first creature is called Cavern Horn Dragon, or Horde. 7/2 red. This spell costs X where X is the greatest amount of artifacts an opponent controls. Flying, Trample, Haste. All really good so far. So it's going to come in like really low in CDH. Whenever this deals combat damage, you create treasure tokens for each artifact that player controls. Holy shit. That means you could potentially get an activation off a single hit. And might cast 2 red to create 6/6. So for this just seems like a really good dragon. Just for Magda. It's probably just going to be slapped in there for like no reason. Just like Chiscoria. Chiscoria is another really good dragon. Now it might not be able to grind out like Chiscoria, but it still gives you a hell amount of treasures that can add to your deck and potentially win you the game. Now we're going to go on to the next one, which is Gimli of the Glittering Caves. 2 in a red. Also from the Commander decks. Double Strike. Double Strike's a really good really good keyword here. Now it starts as a 1/1, but its ability is whenever a legendary creature enters the battlefield, it gets +1/+1 encounter. And when this deals combat damage, you create a treasure token. So now, when you attack this, you're getting 3 treasures off of 1 dwarf. Because when you attack with this with Magda on field, so you're probably going to cast this before you cast Magda, maybe to get the counter. But even then, you'll attack, create a treasure, then deal combat damage, then deal combat damage again. Will create you 2 more treasures. And that's insane. 3 treasures off of 1 dwarf. Now that's a dwarf that I want in my deck for Magda. Now, since it's at 3 mana, it's kind of pricey for how fast I want my Magda deck to be. But it might just be a good enough dwarf to be slot in. These recent dwarves have not been good. But this one seems like a high priority dwarf that might actually make it into the deck. On to the next one. And this one's from the main set. Gloin, Dwarf Emissary. 2 in a red also. So, this one's just a 3/3. And when you cast a historic spell, create a treasure token. This ability only triggers once each turn. Now, that doesn't seem too powerful. But, now you have a dwarf that whenever you cast Magda, you create a treasure. Or any artifact, for that matter. And we're an artifact deck, so we definitely are going to cast some artifacts, especially some vehicles, which still trigger this. Even though it's just 1, it's still a strong ability. And then on to its next one is sacrifice a treasure, goad target creature. So with that means that you can have a goad target creature whenever you want with Magda on field. You can tap, sacrifice it, sacrifice trigger Magda, get another treasure, and go to creature. Now, if you add an untap effect whenever an artifact enters the battlefield, I don't know if there's a card like that right now. I'm currently not thinking about it, if any. But you could goad the entire table. You can goad every creature. And that seems strong. Especially this tap ability. This tap ability is insane. You're getting a net treasure just for a free effect. I don't know how good goad's going to be with Magda, but it might actually take some heat off of you when you're getting fucking thrashed by, like, Winota. But I personally think this is probably on the lower end of the two dwarves that are probably going to be in the Magda deck soon. But I think this might be one of the better ones. On to the next one. Display of Power. 1, 2 red. This spell can be copied. Copy any number of target instances and sorceries. You may choose new targets for the copies. Now this card is grand. I currently run both Fork and the other 2 red one that's the same as Fork. I can't think of it right now. But Display of Power for 1 more mana can cast the entire stack. And there's probably a way to maybe loop this in Magda. Because there are spells that get red's instances and sorceries back in red. So you could probably run this. I don't know exactly if like you could do it, but I have seen this card being played on some decks and see that it's fucking amazing. Maybe if you run this, you can actually put back some of the draw make treasure cards. I know we used to do that in the early beginnings of Magda, but now I think that it might come back for some other combo potential with this Display of Power. Besides the combo potential, you can get cards your opponents have casted. Like, say they're casting Ad Nauseam and someone has already casted a counter. You can recast your Ad Nauseam, casting Display of Power. Now that's the same effect as Fork, but if there's more on the stack, you can cast those too. So I think this is probably going to be a really good card and probably replace Fork or the other one. On to the artifacts now. Now, Mithril Coat, 3 colors, flash indestructible. This ETBs attach it to target legendary you control. Equipped creature has indestructible. Equip 3. Now this is a good target for Magda. So it might just be like ran in the 99 just to have a tutor target to save Magda. Now I don't know like how good this will be as a tutor target, because we currently have a lot of tutor targets in Magda. So I think that this will probably be really good. On to the enchantments. Spiteful Banditry. X2 red enchantment. Whenever this enters the battlefield, it deals X damage to each creature. Then, whenever 1 or more creatures your opponent controls die, you create a treasure token. This ability triggers only once each turn. Now this is really, really strong, because you could make it a board wipe for your opponents. I mean, yes, it fucks you over, but when you don't have creatures out, you might as well just cast it and get that treasure. And if you if you do have creatures, then you can just pay 2 red to have an enchantment with an ability that says when you kill their creatures, you get a treasure. You play this out, put Portal to Rexy in, get a treasure back. What a discount. It's so good. And then also, you have potential to make 4 treasure tokens each turn. Now that's pretty strong. But yeah, it's kind of slow. I wish that they said for each creature that died, create a treasure. That would make it better for you if it was opponent. But yeah, I think this is just pretty good. It might honestly probably be ran in right next to Blood Moon. But maybe Blood Moon has lived its tale. A lot of people have been saying that Blood Moon's not good anymore. At least not in this format. So maybe Spiteful Bandry takes the place of Blood Moon. On to the next one, which are the lands. Mines of Moria. Legendary land. When this ETBs, it enters untapped unless you control a legendary creature. That's okay. We're probably putting out Magda anyway, quickly. Tap, add a red. 3 in a red. Tap, exile 3 cards from your graveyard. Create 2 treasures. What? Now I can have a land ability that makes me have treasures? Yes, it's like treasure, that treasure land, that treasure artifact land. But this makes me have like some sort of use for my graveyard, and incidentally makes me 2 treasures. Yeah, it might not come often since it's like 4 mana to activate, but yes, it will do some work in the deck. That's why I think it'll probably be good for Magda. And that's all I have to say on all these cards. My top pick is probably Cavernhorn Dragon. I think this will probably be great for Magda, and probably makes my Magda deck into a 5 dragon Magda deck. Probably next up is probably Gimli, and then Mithril Coat. But all of these cards that I've been talking about have a very high chance for Magda, because Magda wants all these effects, and they want them good. Except for these 2, I honestly think that all of these will probably be played in Magda. Well, thank you for listening to my ranting. I'll see you next time when the next text comes out.